Hey guys, welcome back to part 3 of my 2000 subscriber Q&A. And straight on with the questions. Question number 1 is coming from Agent K 1986, who asks, which do you think is the best decade listed? Brackets not just for games, 80s, 90s or the 2000s. Me personally, it's going to be the 90s. I absolutely love the 90s. It was when I was a teenager, and I think for most people the teenage years are the most important. You know, it's where you're developing as a human being and growing up and becoming more aware of the world and what's happening. And you remember a lot more from your teenage years because you have so much fun. Yeah, I love the 90s. I mean, the TV shows were fantastic. You know, X-Files, great show. Which was well in the 90s. I think it might have been. I don't know. That was a good show. I enjoyed that. Music was just fantastic. I mean, in my teenage years, I was really into West Coast hip hop, and it was around the time of Death Row and Bad Boy and all that kind of thing. And I was firmly on the Death Row camp. I was a massive fan of like Tupac, Snoop, Dre, Warren G, Nate Dogg. Rest in peace. Dog Pound, Lady Rage, you know, all the West Coast stuff was just absolutely fantastic. And at the time, growing up in that era was just so brilliant. You know, hip hop to me is nowhere near as good as it used to be. I found modern hip hop to be quite bland and boring and unoriginal, and it was just really fresh at the time. Like, I hate to use the term gangster rap because that's a press term and it's bullshit basically, because it's not what it is. It's just hip hop. Yeah, but yeah. I loved that music at the time, and I was massive into Cypress Hill as well. I think everybody was at our school. And it's just like, yeah, that Black Sunday album got rinsed. That was a great album. Yeah, and movies as well, and everything really, and gaming obviously, because gaming was the 16-bit era going into the 32/64-bit era. The 90s were just an absolutely fantastic time to be alive, and I've really enjoyed them a lot more than the 80s. I was too young in the 80s, and I can vaguely remember the odd thing. The best thing about the 80s was the movies and the music. I mean, the movies in particular in the 80s were fantastic because they didn't give a crap back then. They could do what they wanted. There wasn't any political correctness, no editing. It was just superb. But yeah, the 90s definitely my favourite decade. Okay, next one, good friend Adfot1, top bloke. He says, I have one question. Do you think sometimes the buzz of getting a game for your collection is better than actually playing it? And he goes on to say, the other day I got a beauty of a game I was after for ages. It was in great nick and I proudly inspected it and then put it on the shelf. It only dawned on me about an hour later, why didn't I bloody play it? So basically I guess the question is, does collecting kind of overtake the playing sometimes? Yeah, absolutely, dude. I mean, as you say yourself, you know it does. Unfortunately, I find a lot of the time with collecting in particular, if you become a collector, you can get to that point where you're just constantly seeking games. You'll like have a game that's really, really important to get in the best condition, and you'll go for months and months, and you'll eventually find that perfect copy for the perfect price, and you'll be so chuffed. And you get it, and you stick it on the shelf, and you go, well, I'll play it someday. And you never get around to playing it, and then you're like moving on to the next one, and the next one, and the next one. Excuse me, my phone's just vibrated. And then you get in that cycle, that mode of collecting and not actually playing, and it's quite easy to do it. I've done it loads of times, which is why I've cut back lately. Well, I know I've bought a lot of stuff, but I'm calming down so that I can play the games, because I like to play more than collect. So yeah, I absolutely agree, it can take over. And sometimes you just have to take a step back and look at what you're doing and think, I need a bit of focus here. I need to like make sure I'm collecting for the right reasons and not just for the sake of collecting. And just play the games, that's the most important part. Mario and Sonic 1986, my good friend Josh. 4 questions from Josh, and question number 1. What's your favourite Sega console and why? That is going to be the Sega Dreamcast. I absolutely love that system, it's fantastic. The reason I like the Dreamcast is the simplicity of the games, is the fact that it's just essentially a lot of arcade ports. You know, you get your Crazy Taxis, your House of Dead, Sega Rally. They're just absolutely brilliant games. They're just really simple to just pick up and play. They're not complicated, they're not frustrating, they're just fun. And a lot of the fun has gone out of gaming for me in the modern era. The current generation of games, a lot of the games, because they're so buggy, a lot of the fun goes out of it. I just don't want getting really angry with them. So yeah, they're definitely the Dreamcast. And I like the controller for the Dreamcast. It could have done with 2 analogs, but you know, it's okay. The BMU is a cool touch. Question number 2. Which console in your collection is actually your least favourite, sorry, and why? I'd say at the moment the 3DO, just because I haven't given it enough play, and I have a few games, but I've not really explored the consoles to the extent that I should have. I think it was on a kind of a impulse purchase. It was kind of like, I really want to play Street Fighter on the 3DO, and I have done since it was first released when I was a kid, and so I rushed out and bought a 3DO. Now it's good as far as collection is concerned, because it's going to get more expensive as time goes on, and it's already expensive. But as I've said before, I'm not about the money, I'm all about the games. So I need to give it some more attention. But yeah, I'd say the 3DO at this point, just because I haven't given it enough attention. Question number 3. Why don't you like RPGs? If you've tried to play any of them, which ones? It's not that I don't like them, I just find them too hard to play. I don't understand what you're supposed to do. And I also find that apparently there's a lot of time that needs to be invested in these games, and I don't have the spare time to sit there and play RPGs for as long as they take with all the levelling up. I have tried to play games like Zelda, and I was okay on the Game Boy. I got fairly far, and then I got stuck. I've tried playing Link to the Past on the SNES, and I just don't know what I'm doing. I've got no clue. I just sort of walk around with Link, just stabbing things, and I don't really know what I'm supposed to do. I need someone to sit with me really and just show me how to play the game, because I want to really enjoy Link to the Past. I'd love to be able to get into the Zelda games. I tried playing Final Fantasy VII, and that was just beyond me. I don't understand the attraction. I just got frustrated because of the combat system. You got like one set of guys there, one set of guys there, and they all take it in turns, and it's like take it in turns to bash each other. It's like, why? Why can't I just walk over there and punch him in the face or stab him? I don't understand that. It's a very strange game. But you know, loads of people love it, and you know, like any game, like any genre, some people are going to absolutely love it. Some people are going to be, no, it's alright, and other people are going to be like, it's a load of crap. I'm sort of like, yeah, like that about RPGs, because I just don't understand them. If I understood them, I'd probably get more into it. You know, games like Heavy Rain, that was a game, which I know it's not an RPG, but, and as an example, what I'm trying to say is that Heavy Rain was a game that I had no interest in because it was quick time movements. And I hate quick time moments in games, it annoys the hell out of me. And a game where you have to just use quick time all the time, I thought, I'm never going to enjoy that. But once I got the hang of it and I understood how to play it properly and I could get used to the controls, I absolutely adored that game. It was the best game of last year, it's fantastic. So yeah, if I can get an RPG that I can actually understand and how to play it, and I can get someone to sit with me and show me how to play it properly, then I'll be sound. Because all other games, like fighting games, platformers, shooters, etc., they're quite easy to pick up and play. You can work them out in a couple of minutes, you can understand what you're supposed to do, what your objectives are, how the controls work. RPGs just go right over my head. But I'd like to learn how to do it one day and see if I can give it a go. I'd like to just get on. I've got Zelda Link to the Past, so I'd like to be able to play that first. Question number 4. What is your favourite handheld? Now, I don't really have a favourite handheld, mainly because I'm not a massive handheld gamer. I like to dabble with handhelds, but I'm not a hardcore handheld player. I prefer to play on consoles. Handhelds are just there for me when I feel the need. I would probably say the GBA. However, the GBA SP is the best one. I just find it a little uncomfortable because of the squareness of it. So, I mean, it's a bit early to say, but probably the 3DS, because I'm really, really impressed with it at the moment. I love the analog knob. The games look fantastic, and the library of games to come, hopefully, are going to establish the 3DS as a really impressive platform and give Nintendo that position in history of handhelds, which, to be fair, they're already king anyway. They're never going to get knocked off the top spot. Even with the NGP coming out, the NGP hasn't got a hope in hell against the 3DS, in my opinion, because it offers absolutely nothing original. Yeah, before anyone says it, I know it's got the touchpad on the back, but so what, really? I mean, it's not offering 3D enough, it's not offering anything innovative. It's like they've literally just thrown everything into the box that they can think of. And don't get me wrong, there might be a point in the future where I buy an NGP just because it looks so cool, but at this point I was really up for it when it first got announced, and then all the hype wore off, and I just thought, yeah, I'm not that bothered. It's essentially just a PSP with a back touch screen and 2 analogs, isn't it? So, and better graphics. So yeah. Anyway, I hope I don't get any hate from the Sony fanboys, because I do love the PlayStation 3. Next question is from, and I do apologise if I mess up your name, IvePeppy38. And the question is, my question is, what is your favourite video game series and why? I've got 2, I can't really pick one. It's going to be Final Fight and Street Fighter. Although Final Fight was very, I say series, I mean it's essentially one game that was ported onto a lot of systems, and then the Super Nintendo got 2 extra games, 2 and 3. 2 was crap. Well, that's a bit harsh actually. It was just very average. It wasn't as good as it should have been. And the third one was the best one. The Super Nintendo is a fantastic title. Street Fighter, obviously everyone knows what Street Fighter is, and I'm still of the mindset that Street Fighter 2 is the best one. Street Fighter 4 is good, but Street Fighter 2 is better. There's things about Street Fighter 4 I don't like, such as the silly speech. It annoys the hell out of me. I really hate the speech. You know, thank God on the PlayStation 3 you could change it to Japanese, because the English speech was so crap. It was just stupid. I don't know. I also don't like the new characters they put into Street Fighter 4. I thought they were crap, really badly designed. Street Fighter 2 for me is the best because it's just an absolute classic, especially Street Fighter 2 Turbo. It's just so brilliant on the Super Nintendo, that game. It's just spectacular. So yeah, if there's no pick one, it'd be Street Fighter. Our good friend Carlos, quick sci-fi, another awesome YouTuber who's finally come back and started making videos, which is absolutely brilliant. And Carlos's question is, what's your second most favourite system besides the Super Nintendo? Ooh, it depends, Carlos. If you're talking retro, and not every system including the current gen, if we just class it as retro, I'll say my second favourite would be the Dreamcast, just because it's got, as I said earlier, such simplistic fun games to play, and you don't have to really use a lot of thought, and you can just play them, and I don't get frustrated as much with the Dreamcast games. I find them really enjoyable. I like to be able to stick on House of Dead and just blast zombies, or play Crazy Taxi and just bomb around the city in my taxi. It's just great. So yeah, I'd definitely pick the Dreamcast as my second favourite. And I definitely need to buy a lot more games for the Dreamcast to improve my collection. Sally Chi, she's asking, if you're into Akihabara, what would be the first thing you would buy? Oh, that's a tough one because there's a hell of a lot of stuff I'd like to get from Akihabara. For anyone that doesn't know, Akihabara is like the big shopping place for gaming in Japan. Yeah, oh god, where'd you start? I mean, I'd obviously buy a lot of Super Famicom stuff. I'd get as many Super Famicom games to get my hands on, like the exclusives and the crazy Japanese shooters and things. I'd grab copies of Cotton 100% and I'd grab a copy of Xandra's Big Adventure because I want that. It's a great game. Yeah, I mean, I'd have to get all that. I'd probably even buy a Super Famicom just for the hell of it, and I'd probably buy a Famicom as well because I've never had a Famicom and they're really cool. Yeah, it's really difficult, and buy loads of Japanese plushies and things for the game room. I'd just go mental. I'd love to go to Japan. Next question is from Red Hot Light, and his question is: I own a Super Nintendo, but only own two games: Super Mario World and Batman Returns. So my question is, what 5 SNES games are your favourites, and which ones would you suggest to buy to start a SNES collection? Well, when I started my Super Nintendo collection, the way I started was I made a list of games that I wanted. Basically those top tier titles like Mario World, Mario Kart, Mario All-Stars, Castlevania, Contra, all the really obvious games to pick really. And I just tried to tick those off the list as quick as possible, which is not easy due to the prices of them. If you can get those titles out of the way first, then you can start looking at other titles like Batman Returns, which you've got, and games like Aladdin, Axlay, all the Turrican, all the games that aren't like the really highly sought after games. Because the reason I'd say get those first is because even though all the Mario titles, the Contras, the Castlevanias, etc., are quite expensive at the moment, my feeling is that in the future they're going to just keep getting higher because the Super Nintendo game prices keep going up every month pretty much at the moment. So I think if you get them now, you're going to save a fortune in the future, whereas if you wait and you buy all the cheap games first and then aim to get the really expensive games, they're going to start costing too much and they'll be out of your reach. So yeah, I'd recommend getting the Mario games, Castlevania, Contra, all of the essentials, the F-Zero game obviously, all the ones that you'd think of with Super Nintendo, Pilot Wings, Super Tennis, all those kind of games. Although Super Tennis isn't that great anymore. Okay. Next set of questions from a good friend Steve, and I do apologise Steve, I never know how to pronounce your screen name. Is it Bilo or Bilo? I'm not too sure. 01708. Really nice bloke on YouTube, and a guy I've been chatting to recently, and top bloke. And he has 3 questions. Question number 1, what favourite controller would you pair with a console? Now, does that mean, I'm assuming you mean my favourite controller, which is the Super Nintendo controller, which console would I pair that with other than the SNES? I'd say any console because I think the controller is that adaptable. I know there's one for the Wii that's a Super Nintendo controller as far as I'm aware. That'd be really cool. I'd like to get that at some point. But yeah, I do think that the Super Nintendo controller itself is, because it's so well designed and so comfortable and has all the buttons in just the right place. It could probably do some analog sticks if you're going to pair it with modern consoles, of course. But yeah, I think any other system retro-wise, it would work perfectly. It'd probably be good for the Jaguar actually, because that controller's a bit weird. It's comfortable, but all that, it's a bit big. Question number 2, what system would you sell if you had to save your collection? Well, to be quite honest with you, if I was in that position where I needed to save my Super Nintendo collection, I would sell all of my consoles if it came to that point. I'd hope it never comes to that point, but I think realistically the Super Nintendo collection is the most important to me, and I'd even sacrifice my Xbox collection if it meant keeping the Super Nintendo collection. I'd hate to do that, but if it came down to it, to the crunch, then definitely I'd sell everything and keep the Super Nintendo. because I just couldn't sell that at this point. I've got 58 games now and I'd be really gutted to get rid of that because it's my favourite system of all time. Question number 3. How much wood does a woodchucker chuck wood? Yeah, the ultimate the ultimate Monkey Island question. Honestly, mate, I can't even remember the answer to it when I played the game. It was I hadn't played Monkey Island for like a hell of a long time. I don't even know when it came out, but when it came out it was the last time I played it. So I honestly can't remember, but probably a lot of wood. Thanks for your questions, dude. Where are we? Okay. Sorry about this. Yeah. Okay. Next question is a set of 3 questions, and they're from my good friend Airrunner85. And his first question: why do you enjoy playing the N64 on its current hardware? And do you have any setup tips? Brackets, because for myself, even on the CRT, the picture looks terrible. Very, very blurry. When I compare playing the PS1, for example, it's much clearer. Like any system, mate, really. I like playing on the original hardware because it's just better that way. It's better than emulation. I like the feel of the control in my hand, to have the proper console with the cartridge in there or the disc in there, depending on what the system is. And it's just, I don't know, there's just something about it, whether it's nostalgia or it just feels better playing on the actual hardware. I think it depends you have to tell me what cable you've got it connected with. I've got my N64 connected with an S-video cable and it looks great. It does have that slight murkiness that the N64 just has. You can RGB mod N64s. I was reading about it the other day and apparently some of the coloured ones you can't RGB mod, but they weren't entirely certain if some of them could be modded. So I'd have a look into it and find out if you can RGB mod it, because obviously then you can put a SCART cable on it and it should improve the picture a lot. Question number 2. Have you ever thought, why did I purchase the game and regret it? Because it was bought on a whim to add to the collection, as it was a good price. Yeah, I probably have. There probably have been times where I've done that, to be honest. Sometimes I'll see a game and I think, oh, that looks interesting, I'll buy it. And then I find out it's crap. But if you haven't paid a lot of money for it, it's not so bad, because at least you've just given it a try. It's better than just thinking, I can't be bothered. You should always give a game a shot. If it looks interesting, just try it. Question number 3. What are your other hobbies? And are you very passionate about other things, or is gaming your thing? Gaming is my main one. That's absolutely my main passion, and that's where most of my money goes. Other than that, I like a lot of variety. I like movies, TV shows. I'm big into American TV shows. I watch a lot of American dramas. I love music. I love reading up on history, reading up on conspiracy theories, sci-fi, spaceships, UFOs. Sorry guys, battery just died on me right in the middle of the question. I do apologise. I'll just start that one again. So yeah, everyone was asking, what are my other hobbies? And are you very passionate about other things, or is gaming your thing? As I say, gaming is my thing. I'm into a variety of different things. I love movies, can't beat a good film. I love music. I've got a variety of taste in music. Anything from I listen to pop music like N-dubs, or a bit of Rihanna, a bit of Avril Lavigne. I like rock music like Bon Jovi. I like metal, Disturbed, Slipknot, Kitty, bit of Korn maybe. I like Cradle of Filth, Killswitch Engage, all that kind of stuff. I also like happy hardcore music. I don't know what they call it now. I mean, it's just hardcore, but I like all that sort of stuff. I like jazz, like Miles Davis. Miles Davis is brilliant. I like, what else do I like? Yeah, I'm pretty not much, but I like Steven Seagal's album was brilliant. I like some country like Tim McGraw, a bit of Garth Brooks, not so much Garth, more Tim, but still. I like hip hop. As I say, I was massive into the West Coast thing back in the 90s. Nowadays, there isn't really anything that really makes me interested, so I sort of like listen to all the old stuff instead. R&B as well, the same thing. It used to be great. It's really boring now. It's just generic crap. It's not the same as the days when I used to listen to bands like Silk and Shy, artists like Aaliyah, TLC. Those were the days when the music was really good. Nowadays, it's just very crappy. It's very pop. That's the problem. But yeah, I like a variety of things. I like to read up on different subjects in history, and I'm into sci-fi. I like to read up on ufology, the study of extraterrestrial life. I'm always fascinated by conspiracy theories about Area 51, assassinations, just all kinds of things, government and conspiracies, all kinds of things really. I like to get a varied knowledge on a lot of different subjects because I find it really fascinating and interesting, and it's good to have a broad knowledge. It's good to be able to get as much information as you can and make a decision for yourself really as to what you think. So yeah, but I mean, gaming is the main thing. As far as like passion, I love gaming to bits. It's brilliant. Alright, next question. Got a set of questions from a good friend, Drexus80. And he said, I'm a sucker for punishment. Thanks, Daz. Question number 1. What would be your dream job? Working for the FBI, mate. That would be the ultimate job for me. Like Fox Mulder and X-Files. If I could have that job, I'd be so happy. I might end up regretting doing it, and I don't think the FBI would have as much access as he did, maybe. I think to be fair, he did get put down quite a lot by the people in charge and the Men in Black, etc. So maybe, you wouldn't get the position you want to be. Or either that, or I'd just like to work at Area 51 and find out what's really happening over there. That'd be quite interesting. Question number 2. If you're given the money to go anywhere in the world on a gaming-related holiday, where would you go and for what reasons? It would definitely be Japan. There's 2 places. It'd be Japan and New York. I'd go to Japan because of Akihabara, and because I could just go mental and just buy loads of stuff and just totally indulge myself in Japanese gaming, which would be fantastic. And New York because the Nintendo store looks so cool. I'd love to go and visit the Nintendo store. Plus, I've always just wanted to visit New York in general anyway. I think New York's a fantastic city, and it's got loads of really cool tourist stuff I'd like to go and check out. And I can obviously buy loads of Super Nintendo games while I'm there as well, because there's a retro store in New York, which I can't remember the name of the place, but I've seen the website, and yeah, it'd be really cool. I saw it on YouTube as well, someone did a video, so that'd be really good to go and visit that and see if we can find some Super Nintendo box games in great shape for a good price. Question number 3 from Daz. What game mags did you used to read back in the day, and do you still read any of these today? I have got a couple of Nintendo magazine system magazines upstairs, which are really, really good. And I used to like those old magazines with the reviews where they got the little cartoon version of the guy that's reviewing the game. And they'd have say it was a Terminator game, they'd have him dressed like a little Terminator dude. And that was really cool. And I like the sense of humour and the more laid back attitude back in the 90s. There wasn't so much pressure, I don't think, on the reviewers. As gaming wasn't as big as it is now. The industry now is bigger than films, it's huge. And so there's a lot of pressure on people to give good reviews, I think. Whereas back then it wasn't. They were very honest about what they thought of a game. If they said it was crap, they literally said it's crap. And I really like that. I used to read CMVG was the main one as a kid. As I said probably in videos before, I just remember seeing Street Fighter 2 on a two-page spread in CMVG when I was on my way down to, I don't know where it was going, I think it might have been Wales or something. It was going on holiday, the family. And me and my cousin in the back of the car just looking at this 2-page spread of Street Fighter was just absolutely gobsmacked, and was like, gotta have a Super Nintendo. But yeah, CMVG was great, and Nintendo Magazine System, another great magazine. Next set of questions are from Game Endings. First question is, okay, it says, I feel I should qualify the question slightly. I see you buying quite a lot of stuff. Do you have a monthly budget to stick to? Do you not have a wife or girlfriend to nag you to stop spending so much? And how do you get away with it, really? Yeah, I'm single, so I don't need to worry about that. I don't have kids, which is great. So yeah, any spare money I have, I can put it to gaming if needed, which it usually is. So yeah, that's the only reason I'm able to buy stuff. If I had a family, obviously it'd be completely different, and I would not be buying half as much stuff. So yeah. Sometimes collecting can be so much of an interest in itself that it's sometimes all about the collecting instead of the playing. How much time do you think you sit down and just play a game? What was the last game you finished? As I said to Adfot earlier, yeah, absolutely, collecting can take over the game playing, and it's a pain when it does, which is why you need to take time out and step back and think about what you're doing. How much time do I sit down and play just a game? It depends. If it's retro, it may be a couple of hours, depending on the game, or I might flip between a couple of games within a few hours. Modern games, obviously, it can be anything. I mean, if the game's really good, I can be sitting there for 5 hours solid and just really absorbed into the game, assuming I've got the spare time to do so. So yeah, it all depends really if it's modern or retro. And what was the last game I finished, which was The Conduit on the Wii, which is brilliant. I absolutely love that game to bits. Every minute of it was fantastic, really fun. It's a short game, but really, really good. Where are we? I hate keep leaving in, but I can't see the time on the camera for us. Right, so mate, these are the last ones. These are from Jodeci Mudvayne, another great YouTuber who's just recently returned as well, which is excellent. It's good to see you back, mate. And question number 1, he's got 5 questions. Question 1, have you ever beaten The Legend of Zelda Link to the Past? No, I haven't. As I said earlier, I still want to play that game. I need to be told how to play it because I don't understand it. I'd like to play it though, and I'd like to complete it. And have you ever played Ocarina of Time? No, I haven't, because I want to play Link to the Past first and progress through to Ocarina of Time and the other one, which I've forgotten the name of. Oh crap, I can't remember. The other N64 one. Question number 2, what is your favourite controller of all time? The Super Nintendo controller. Just perfectly designed, fits nicely in the hand, buttons are in the right places, it's got the shoulder buttons for Street Fighter. It's just a cracking little controller. All of these is analogues and it'd be perfect. Question number 3, what is the one thing you like most about buying things from eBay? And what is the one thing you hate or dislike the most about buying things from eBay? One thing I like most about buying from eBay is finding that bargain, finding that game you've been looking for ages, and just seeing it in mint condition and finding someone who doesn't have a clue what it's worth and selling it for a cheap price, and you've been really excited to get it, and when it arrives it's just the best feeling in the world. The thing I don't like about eBay is packaging, especially in the UK. People just absolutely useless. You get the occasional seller, there's a couple of them that do retro regular and understand that people who collect want them in the condition they're advertised, and they're pretty good at listing them correctly. And that's another thing I don't like, people who don't list games correctly and just have a photograph that makes it look mint when in fact it's in really shitty condition, or it's got stickers on it that don't mention it, or it's scratched that don't mention it. That frustrates me. So really it's packaging and descriptions. If people were more honest about the two, we'd get a lot better offers, but you know, it's just the way it is with eBay, it's hit and miss a lot of the time, unfortunately. Question number 4, besides the SNES, in your opinion, which video game system has the best game boxes and cases? Very hard. In the UK, most of the game boxes and cases we've had are pretty crappy. You know, you have the Super Nintendo, which are awesome, and the N64. They're not very practical because they're cardboard and they can be damaged quite easily, but they look really cool. Other than that, the PS1 cases are pretty cheap, plasticky. Dreamcast cases are terrible, they just fall apart. Saturn cases are the same, they fall apart. And in current gen, it's all about, well, last gen and current gen, it's DVD cases mostly, and Blu-ray for the PlayStation. I'd probably go with the PlayStation because I really like those Blu-ray cases. I like the design of the artwork with the little strip around the top. I like the size of the boxes, they all look really nicely lined up and all. They're absolutely cracking, so yeah, I'd go with the PS3. Right, and question number 5 is, how do I convince X-File to collect for the Super Nintendo exclusively? I'd be impressed if he can, mate, to be honest. Send him an American Super Nintendo, it might encourage him if he starts playing the 60Hz versions. I doubt he'd ever exclusively collect for the SNES though. He's too much of a Sega man. And that Mega Drive collection is pretty damn impressive, so there's no way he's going to go exclusive SNES. But you never know, you might be able to convince him to actually get a few more SNES games in there and start getting a bit of Super Nintendo love. Great idea though. Right guys, well, thank you for watching part 3. I'm now going to close this part here and I'll be back shortly with part 4, so thank you guys, see you soon.